Hi friends, welcome back to
Wish You Love Podcast.
My name is Jasmine.
And my name is Marilyn.
And we're so excited to have you guys back again. Going on, 3 months?
Yeah, it's been a while now, yeah.
But thank you guys so much for all of the love, the support, and for you guys being on this journey with us. If you guys are new here, this is a podcast filled with reflection questions for you guys to journal with us, kind of just get a little insight and just be a part of this community.
And we're so excited to be here with you guys, and happy October! Woo!
It's the season for pumpkin spice.
I wish it was all year. I love pumpkin spice.
I know.
Everything pumpkin. Candles, drinks, what else? Creamers. I specifically like the silk creamer. It's really, really, really good. It's like on par with the Starbucks drink, which I love. But you can't like always get it because sometimes you're running late and all that good stuff. But everything like, even just like pumpkin shaped things, specifically Mickey Mouse pumpkin shaped things. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love this time of year. It's so cute. Everything's so cute.
I know pumpkin spice fall starts early now.
Yeah.
Like, what was it, September?
It was August.
Month. Oh, so 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, nonetheless, I'm not complaining, right?
No, yeah.
I'm like, bring on the fall, because I'm the same way.
No, yeah. I
it.
like it more than the Christmas, what is it called? Flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Christmas, I go for like a lot of chai, which is still bomb, and like hot cocoa, but it does not beat pumpkin. Like everything pumpkin's so good.
Yes, I agree. If you guys have a local Trader Joe's near you, definitely check them out for pumpkin spice things.
What would your recommendation be?
Pumpkin spiced cream cheese.
Ooh.
They have that.
I hope they have a vegan version. I've never seen that.
It's so good. Yeah. Like, I put that on my waffles, like on my
everything.
Bagels. Yeah. It's so good, you guys.
Ooh, that sounds so good. Oh, dang.
Hopefully they have a vegan one.
I hope so.
I never checked, but maybe.
Yeah, I will say that Trader Joe's vegan, what is it called? Cream cheese is the best. It's literally the Trader Joe's brand. It's only $2.50, I think. And it's so good. I put so many people onto it, and it's really yummy if you guys would like to try it. I hope they have a pumpkin spice version. They don't have a strawberry version, though, because when I did eat cheese, I loved the strawberry cream cheese. And now I just have to, like, mix jelly with it, but it's not the same.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's our plug for Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's plug. Yeah, they should
sponsor
us, yeah. Specifically on vegan and pumpkin stuff. No, yeah. But we're so happy for you guys to be here and happy that it's fall season. And today we're going to be talking about what words do you need to hear right now. So who do you want to go first, Jasmine? Me or you? We'll let Jasmine decide.
Oh my God. You kick us off, Marilyn.
Okay, and just like the teenage episode, this episode I feel I will be very passionate about it because you'll see. So let's get into it. So I'll read the question one more time. What words do you need to hear right now? So for me personally, I need to hear words of encouragement. I need positivity spoken over me. So that is what I'm going to do for you guys today. I need to hear this, and I feel that many of you guys need to hear this, whether or not you're going for a goal or you just, starting your morning listening to Wish You Love podcast. I feel like words of encouragement are always needed. In addition to that, I need to be reminded on how to speak to myself. And in what comes out of my mouth and that internal dialogue inside of me, because we all have that like internal dialogue. And sometimes we can be really, really mean to ourselves. So I wanted to talk about that. There was this quote that I heard from Les Brown, and he's the same guy who did "It's Not Over Until I Win." I love him. So look him up if you want to hear motivational speeches. But okay, so Les Brown said, I want my life to reflect my words and honoring who I am and what I express. When I heard this quote, I thought of two things. Number one, my word is valuable. Whatever I say, I must honor that. As well as what I say shows my character. So I must always remind myself that I need to speak words of encouragement and positivity. So I just think that we have such power, and, we talked about that in the impacts, like what impact have we had on others? And words are extremely powerful and important, and what you're saying to yourself is so important as well. Like if you're constantly putting yourself down, saying that, oh, I look ugly today, that is so mean. Like you should be your own best friend, you know? And honestly, like if somebody were to say the mean things that you say to yourself to you, you would probably cry, because like who would say that? And you're saying that to yourself, So being reminded of that internal dialogue and being kinder to yourself is the first thing I thought of.
I think too, it's like you made me think right now, like you wouldn't go tell someone like you're so fat.
No.
So it's like, why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
Like put yourself first, and like the kindness that most people treat with others, they forget to treat it to themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the second part, or the second thing I thought of when hearing that quote was the part that says, I want my life to reflect my words. I need to change my vocabulary when I speak, because if I speak it, I'm going to live it. For example, I have heard myself say, I hope I pass my comprehensional exams. My comprehensional exams, for background, is a test that I have to take at the end of the semester, and if I don't pass, I don't get my master's degree. So it's a lot of pressure. So I hear myself say, I hope I pass. No, I will pass my comprehensional exams. Or, getting a tenured track professor gig is really hard. Like, no, thank you God for blessing me with that tenured track job, like affirmating that. At my dream college, thank you for setting that promise in my heart. Your words have power, and we know that getting that job is hard. We know that passing that exam is hard. We know that all these things that we're working for is hard, but if you speak about accomplishing those goals, it does have power.
I love that. I think that you're right. That has there's so importance of what you say to yourself, to the universe. Like, you are, what you say will define like who you are.
Yeah.
And what's to come. So, yeah.
Exactly. And it made me think of, like, I don't know if we've talked about it on the pod actually, but when people are mean to you and like there's this saying of like, oh, that's like they're projecting, like that's how they view themselves. And like you can really see in people on how they view themselves, through their words, whether or not it's, we don't hear what people are saying to themselves, but how they treat others and stuff. So I'm sure if you treat yourself with more kindness, that kindness will go all over in different parts of your life. Yeah. And then the second part of like that words that I felt like I needed to hear, and I feel like you guys need to hear because it's very general. Being reminded of the marathon. So I did a marathon in high school, my senior year, and a marathon is 26.2 miles, and it's a very hard thing to do.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She's a runner, she's a trainer. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really hard. So, but after I ran a marathon and experiencing that in my life, it changed how I viewed life, and that's what I want to talk about today. And literally anytime I thought that something was too difficult, like at the time my bachelor's, like I was crying, like I wanted to give up. It was really, really hard. And I kept thinking to myself, like, you ran the LA Marathon, like you can do anything. Like if you're tired, keep pushing, And then the same thing of like, let's say when I'm on the Stairmaster and I'm on level 10, and it's already been 25 minutes deep and I want to slow it down. Like, nope, you've ran 26.2 miles straight. Like you can keep going, because it's crazy what your body can do. So with that, I learned that life is a marathon. You know, you train and you prepare for what you're trying to go for. Like for me, for instance, I'm training and preparing for this comprehensional exam, you know, all those hours of running, like on the weekends, rain or shine, 5 in the morning, you're running 12 miles. And then throughout the week, every single day, I think except for Friday, you're running minimum 4 miles, and you're exhausted, your legs hurt, you want to give up, but you can't give up because you have the marathon coming. The same goes for whatever you're working for. So like for this comprehensional exam, you're exhausted, you've taken so many classes, it's been 7 years, you're in college, you know, you don't want to, you come home at 10 p.m. and you still have a 7-page paper to write. You only have 2 pages down. Can you finish? Can you give up? No, you can't give up. It's due tonight. So it's like you have to keep pushing, and all that time in preparing for that is like, you know, all those homeworks and assignments and classes are preparing you for the end, which is the finish line, which is the comprehensional exams. And the same can go for, you know, even your workplace training and preparing. You can't just jump into a workplace not having any idea of what's going on. Like you have some type of training or readiness to begin. You don't just jump into a marathon. You don't just jump into a job without any training. And so after the training, it's pushing when you have nothing left to give. So just like in the marathon, I remember I was running with my friend, and we ran, I believe it was until the 23rd mile. We ran nonstop. Yeah, so 23 miles we ran straight. So we were running. You want water? You grab a water, drink it, throw it. You're hungry, grab a pretzel bite and like put it in your mouth and keep it pushing. Like you keep going even when you have nothing left to give. And that is exactly like life, you know? You have to put food on the table for your family. Like you're tired, but yet you still have to get up and go to work, you know? It's that, you know, and I don't want to like emphasize on like grinding until you're done, but when you're working towards something really important to you, that's what I mean of like pushing, you know, for that very important thing, you know? And then once you're done, once I finish my comprehensional exams and you're finished, once I pass that finish line and you realize you're still not done, it's not over, you know? Because when you pass that finish line, you don't just collapse and you don't just lay down on the floor. You keep going because you still have to walk to your team or to your parents and then to the car. And so it's like, even when you're done with that accomplishment, there's still so much more to go. Because after the masters, you know, it's really hard, but damn, then I have to find a full-time job. It's still, so life is a marathon. And even when you cross that finish line, there's still more to go, you know? And so remembering that to keep on going and to keep pushing for what you want, but also remembering that at the end of the tunnel, there is still more ahead of you, you know? And whether or not after the marathon, you just walk your way through the next marathon, you know, chilling, you know, still get it done, or you speed through it, you know? So I just wanted to, I think those are words that I need to hear, being reminded of the marathon, because you have to sometimes remember, why am I doing this? When you're doing something very difficult, you know, for your kids, for yourself, whatever the reasoning is.
Yeah. I think for sure growth never stops, and that's the beauty of life. You'll never hit a point where you're like, okay, I'm done, check mark. It's like, yeah, you're done, check mark, but you're on to the next step.
Right.
Yeah, and I love that. I actually had seen like a social media post about that as well from this influencer that I like, where she had posted that, where it's like, growth just never stops. You check mark boxes, but then there's a new to-do list to do. So yeah, I love your marathon story. That's really a good analogy, and it's true. It's really good. And I'm also very impressed. 26. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really hard. And I just remember like when we stopped running at the 23rd mile, because we see my family, my friend's family, and I just remember when I seen them, I just cried and I like wanted to collapse. And I've heard so many of my friends who have taken this exam say the same thing when they're done. They literally all told me they just collapse and they cry and they knock out. They go to sleep. But it just reminded me of like, it's the same thing, you know, because even after I wanted to collapse and I wanted to fall and I was crying because I was so tired and my bones hurt, my body was doing the same thing over and over again for, at that point, like 5.5 hours. And but then, you know, they're like, you can do it, you can pass that finish line, you have to finish. You know, you started something, you have to finish it. And we walked for 1 mile, and then for the last, I believe, 3 point something, I don't know how many left, we just ran it. Yeah. Wow. I just want to like finish, like hurry up.
Yeah.
I was so tired. But I highly recommend for anybody to do a marathon, because I mean, as you can see, this really shaped how I view life, and I think it's beneficial. Like, you know, it proves to yourself, like, damn, like my body can do things, and my brain, because a lot of it's mental. A lot of it's mental. Because you probably don't think your body could do that. Your body can, and your brain can. And it really proves to yourself, like, anything that I think I could do, I can do, you know. Because I was scared. I remember when I first started, because we started, I think, 3 in the morning, and we were at Dodger Stadium. Yeah, we ran from Dodger Stadium to Santa Monica Pier. Wow. Yeah. And I remember it was so cold too, and I was like so scared, and I was like shaking. I was like, oh, like everything in you, like you prepared for this, but like now that it's here, you're like, what? Yeah.
That is such a long journey.
It's a long,
That's life too, right?
Yeah.
Certain chapters in your life are long journeys.
Right, exactly.
And you getting your master's was one of them. It's been long.
It's been long, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful because some people, and this is the same with life, some people run marathons, like they're literally like sprinters, like they race for it. And people are like that in life, you know. Like I think of doctors when I think of that, like, you know, like they're working their butt off, you know, to like get to the finish line, like go. And some people do it in wheelchairs, you know. Some people just do it because, you know, and that reminds me of people who go to school later on in life, of like, I don't care how long it takes me to do it, but I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna cross that line.
There is no right way
to
that path or that journey. Yeah. Anyone can do it. It's just exactly what you're saying, the mindset.
Prosthetic legs, they're still running out there. Doesn't matter. Like the circumstance, like you can do it if you want to do it. And what I love about marathon training rather than cross country, not to put the two versus each other, but I like that nobody cares about your time. Everyone's finishing at their own time, and everyone's training at their own pace. Like we're all gonna get 26.2 miles done. We're not being like, oh, when'd you finish? Like, no, it's like, we finished, like we did it, because it's hard. And that's how life should be. Like, we shouldn't be like, oh, I got my master's at like 21. Like, no. Like, wow, you got your master's? Amazing. Good for you. It should be like, everyone needs to remember that we have our own journey in life. And it doesn't matter how long it takes somebody or how fast it takes somebody, but it's their journey, you know? Yeah.
I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I got from this question, of just remembering that internal dialogue and how to speak to yourself, and remembering where that finish line is and why you're working so hard. So, yeah, that's what I got from it.
I love it. And like I said, I'm still shocked on those 26 miles, but I'm so proud of you.
Thank
and
you.
Happy that you shared this story, not just with me, but with everyone who's listening, because there's a lot of really, really good analogies and food for thought to think, and that I'm personally taking away right now of like, what's been my marathon per se?
Or what are you starting? What marathon are you training for? Because the marathon is, you know, only a few hours. Before the marathon, it takes a year to train for it. So it's like, what are you training for?
That might be a good question for us to do.
Yeah, and for you guys to answer, like, what are you training for, or are you in the marathon? You know, I feel like right now I'm in the training. My marathon is the comps. Yeah. So like November, December, like, no, I would say the day of, that's the marathon.
Once you take the exam.
The exam. I mean, it's a 5-hour long exam. People finish the marathon in that time.
Yeah.
So actually, it's kind of funny. the same hours of a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna repeat the question. And don't forget, you guys, that definitely journal this question and think about how you would answer this question and reflect. And if you guys would like, send us in on our Google form that can be found in the link of our bio. If you have a story or need advice, or simply just want to comment, on what your answer would be. You can also do that on one of our Instagram posts, if you feel a little like you would like it to be more like shared with everybody else who, is, in the community, because the Google form is anonymous and private. But yeah. All right. So let me repeat for Jazmine. What words do you need to hear right now?
I think right now I am in a chapter in my life where I am very grateful and happy to say, I'm pretty much fulfilled school, right? I'm in my career. And I think right now there's just so much unknown of like what's next for me. I worked so hard to like get to my career, and now that I'm here, it's like, okay, what's next, right? And I think right now the thing that's next for me is really just starting my future with my boyfriend, getting married, moving up in my career, starting a family. Like those are all the things that excite me. But I think it's a little scary because, when you're preparing for your career, you know that you have classes, right? You know what you're going to learn. You know what, the steps needed to get to that place. And now I feel like there is no right steps or guide for this next wave or like this next chapter, which is a little scary. And I don't know if anyone who's listening can relate to me or has gone through this, but it's just, there is no right way to start a family and move out and, get married, but there's also no, like, it's just so up in the air. Like, there's so many ways to, like, do that. What's the best way for me and for my my boyfriend and I? And so I think right now there's just a lot of unknown, So I think the words that I would love to hear right now is, you're doing okay and you're on the right path. Because I always strive to just kind of be, okay, like this is going to help me financially, right? I'm $1 or $2 closer to making this much amount, which will be enough for a down payment for a house or something or whatnot. But yeah, there's just a lot of unknown, a lot of like pressure of, am I doing the right steps? Is taking this certificate course that I'm currently doing right now going to help me to continue to move up in my career? Like, there's just a lot of unknown, and I just really would love to hear that right now. Like, I'm doing okay, I'm on the right path, and I will get to where I need to be.
That was very beautifully said. I feel, I think that everyone needs to hear that, because I feel like most of us struggle with that. I think, honestly, when you were speaking those words of wisdom, honestly, I was like, yeah, I feel the same. I think that people need to be reminded, like, you are on the right path. Like, on what they, like, you don't need to, like, stress out so much,
Yeah.
And it's about having faith, because it's so unsure. We don't know if that certificate program is going to help you. We don't know if we'll be able to have kids by the time we're ready to have kids. Like, there's so much of like, oh, I hope that this happens. And I think that's where the internal dialogue comes back of like, this certificate program will help me in my career. Because it can help you literally, move up, or just you mentally.
Yeah.
It'll help you know how to handle yourself, know what you're worth, because you're more like educated now, and you're like, you know what, like, I have studied this, I do know what to do, and I have XYZ years of experience. I feel like regardless, it's gonna help you.
Yeah.
But that internal dialogue of telling yourself, like, Jazmine, like, I'm exactly where I need to be. My kids are waiting for me. That house is waiting for me. Like those people that I'm going to like live in their house, they're going to retire in 3 years, and it's going to be ready for me right when it's needed to be ready for me. You know, I feel like everything is going to happen how it's supposed to happen. And that's why, going back to our first official episode, but it's the second episode of like life teachers. I love having somebody older than me as a mentor, because I get to see it in their lives of like Soul. She would tell me like, oh, I remember I used to stress out about that at your age. And it makes me think like, oh, and now she's okay because
she went through it.
She went through it.
Like where she's at now.
Yeah, exactly. She's exactly where I want to be. So it brings comfort as well, making sure that you have that person to look up to that are doing what you want to do. You know, if there's somebody in HR that is older than you, like I would say significantly, because then they have already went through like having the kids, having, you know, and, you know, and I know every decade's different in the business of like, you know, school or, you know, literally business like you. But I think it's important to like reassure ourselves with the internal dialogue, but also seeking that in other people, like, oh, she did it. It was fine for her. It'll be fine for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think also like the way I've been trying to like not necessarily get those words from someone, but maybe just for my own mental health, like, okay, and like for me myself is to just surround myself, yeah, you're right, with like older people. And, you know, you sometimes will catch Angel and I going on double dates with like his uncles or like a friend of ours from church who happens to be in their late 30s with kiddos already and whatnot. But it's just, surrounding ourselves. Like, I think that's kind of like how I'm trying to find that like comfort of like, okay, like let me be around these people, let me hear their stories and the way they got through it, and like sort of apply that to my concerns and fears that I have right now, just to see if I am like, you know, on the right path and I can take it easy a little bit. But yeah, I think that's just kind of what I need to hear right now, that I'm doing okay and I am on the right path to where I want to be for this next to-do list to accomplish that.
Right.
But yeah.
So I was like thinking maybe we should do an exercise, all of us. If you guys are listening to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you guys can say it out loud. Or if you're on YouTube, you can comment it or simply say it out loud as well. But I was thinking that we should say an affirmation for ourselves that we really need to hear.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I am exactly where I need to be.
Love that. That's a good one. I'll steal that too. Mine will be, I will pass my comprehensional exam. That's my number one. Yeah. So, well, you guys will be here with me in December, and I'm so excited. I'll be like, I passed, because I'm really affirmating it. I'm telling myself I will pass. Like, but for me, I think it's just so important to look at yourself and tell yourself, like, whatever you're going through, you know, like, I am healthy, I'm thriving, I'm exactly where I need to be, just like Jazmine, and I'm blessed. I'm okay. You know, I'm safe.
It makes me think at the end of the day, we should all remind ourselves, like, we're alive.
We're alive, yeah.
That is the biggest blessing and the best thing to focus on above all. Like, the fact that we are human beings here, present, alive. We can do anything after that. And that's what should matter the most. Just the feeling of being alive and here.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I absolutely love this episode, and I loved chatting with you, Jazmine, and being here with you guys, our Wish You Love family. And yeah, be sure to follow us, subscribe wherever you listen, rate us, give us a good rating, I hope. Yeah, and follow us on our Instagram on Wish You Love Pod. And thank you just for being here and just being the best. And And as well, waiting for our audio. It's finally here, and I'm so excited. We got everything. And if you guys are starting a podcast and would like us to do a TikTok on like how to start a podcast, because now we know, we went through all those struggles. We can definitely do that if there's any requests for that.
And I hope you guys, as always, walked away with feeling either inspired, feeling like you learned something, feeling like you're not alone, right? Whether you're in my shoes or Marilyn's shoes or just whatever that case is, that is ultimately the biggest goal of this podcast. And make your affirmations.
Yes.
Say them out loud. Comment on your posts, your affirmations. We'll probably do a post about that. So stay tuned. Interact with us.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you guys so much. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next. And above all else,
we wish you love.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.